Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers. They're ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We check everything here in Paris and bring the best to you. We have a special show this week from our observers in Egypt. We met most of them during last year's revolution. We went back to Cairo for the historic election to see who will replace Hosni Mubarak as president. We now know it's going to be a runoff between his prime minister and the candidate of the Muslim Brotherhood, a military man or an Islamist. It's not a great choice for many of the revolutionaries who were in Tahrir Square, nor for the 7 million members of the Coptic Christian minority. Our observer Ibrahim spent the second day of voting in a Coptic neighborhood in Cairo.
The first 2 days of voting were truly exciting. It's the first time we've had an election like it in Egypt in thousands of years of history. We got some great pictures. There were some really funny ones, like the man who brought his donkey with him when he came to vote. On the second day of voting, we wanted to see what Egypt's minorities were talking about, so we went to a Coptic Christian neighborhood to see how they feel about the election, about where the country is going. Everyone we met said the same thing. They want the state to remain secular. It was reassuring. I also wanted to talk to Muslims who live in the same neighborhood to ask them if the Christians treated them differently after the Islamist victory in the legislative elections. One man told me no, nothing had changed. Christians and Muslims were still living as one community. Reports of tension were just propaganda by the ruling generals, he said. That was reassuring too. There was no sign that Christians were retreating into their own community.
There were no women among the dozen candidates for the first round, and we wondered how women voters felt about that, and about their role in Egyptian society. A film last year called 678 caused a lot of controversy. It was about women who get fed up with sexual harassment on their bus route, the 678, and take revenge. We sent 2 of our observers to find out whether Cairo's buses are really that bad.
We went to the main bus station and we started our adventure or research about the sexual harassment in Egypt.
Well, we got on the bus and we decided to talk to the women on the bus and ask them like how many times they would face sexual harassment and if they thought it was an actual problem or not, and like he said, how they would react. And then we also decided to ask the men and see like what they would do if they saw like something happen in front of them and how they would react. The most upsetting thing about talking to the women was the fact that it's become normal and that like a lot of the times people don't interfere. It's very sad because it's become something normal. It's become something people are used to, and most of them, none of the women we asked said that she's never gotten harassed. All of them said that it happens to them, and most of them said it happens to them on a daily basis. Like it's become something normal for them. It's become something they face daily.
Now for our weekly roundup of the best stories and images sent in by our observers. First stop, Mandalay, the second biggest city in Burma. Our observer, Tu Tae-zar, told us about a new wave of protests there, candle-lit vigils to draw attention to chronic power cuts. Nothing overtly political about that, but until recently, demonstrations of more than 5 people were illegal in Burma. The new civilian government lifted those restrictions last year, and the electricity protests are the first big test. The government is allowing the protests to go on, and even explaining why the outages are happening and promising to take action. Another sign of the country's progress toward democracy. Our last stop is the Brazilian capital, Brasilia, for a slut walk. Yes, that's what it's called. Feminists drawing attention to sexism in Brazilian society and violence against women. Slut walks have been held around the world, but at the Brasilia version, one man dared to moon the women. It did not go down well. The women chased him down and handed him over to the police. That's it for this edition. A special thanks to our Egyptian observers. They'll be back for the final vote later this month. As always, you can find more reports from our observers on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time.